much has been made of several partial DNA profiles that were found on JonBenet's underpants and long johns. The most compelling detail is that one unknown male DNA profile was found on both articles and under her fingernails. And more importantly, this same unknown male's DNA was apparently found in drops of JonBenet's blood that were located on her underpants. This would infer that the unknown male's DNA was transferred while JonBenet was bleeding, therefore belonging to the killer. To True Crime Oracle, there is another explanation. But first, does anyone think it odd that the DNA profiles are partial and incomplete? How could an intruder thread such a needle? He exposes himself just enough to leave his DNA in single transfers, but not enough for a full DNA profile. To True Crime Oracle, there is a simple answer to this oddity. And it does not include an intruder. We believe that the multiple partial DNA profiles that were found on JonBenet's underpants and long johns were actually corrupted by multiple transfers. There is an important, yet unjustified assumption that is made regarding the unknown male DNA. The assumption is that the unknown male's DNA must originate from a grown adult man. Why can't the unknown male DNA originate from a male child? JonBenet had been to several Christmas gatherings over the days preceding celebrating Christmas itself. At these gatherings, JonBenet was very active playing with other children. JonBenet could have grabbed another male child's arm or otherwise scratched the male child while playing. For example, what if JonBenet played tag with multiple children? If she touched multiple children, this would leave multiple DNA profiles on JonBenet's fingers and under her fingernails. If JonBenet then adjusted or itched her underpants, this would transfer all of that DNA. And I wonder if JonBenet had suffered from any condition that may have caused her to itch herself. Note, it has been suggested that the unknown male DNA found on JonBenet's underpants originated from saliva. This is not for certain at all. But even if this was true, how hard is it to imagine JonBenet playing at the Christmas party and somehow coming into contact with a male child's spit or sweat? When JonBenet returned home, she was changed into long johns and put to bed. At any time before she was murdered, JonBenet could have simply reached down and adjusted her long johns, thus transferring all of those DNA profiles that came from just hours ago onto the long johns. At this point, after multiple transfers, the DNA profiles are corrupted. All we are proposing is that JonBenet played with, and probably came into physical contact with other children at the Christmas parties. She then adjusted her underpants at some point, and then adjusted her long johns after being put to bed. We at True Crime Oracle believe that this could possibly explain how those multiple DNA profiles would have originated by innocent means. Can we explain the unknown male DNA in the drops of JonBenet's blood found on her underpants? We have a rather simple answer for this. If our theory is correct, this would mean that the multiple DNA profiles, including the unknown male DNA profile, actually belong to the children that JonBenet played with at the Christmas gatherings. If JonBenet had transferred those profiles from her fingers to her underpants by itching or adjusting herself, then the profiles were already there before she died. If the unknown male DNA profile was already on her underpants, and drops of blood land on the DNA, then it would give the appearance that the unknown male's DNA was, quote, in the blood. If all the male children that attended the Christmas parties were tested for DNA and compared to the profiles on JonBenet's clothing, we at True Crime Oracle believe that it is very possible that there would be a match. Of course, we know that these DNA tests will never happen. Without making any unreasonable assumptions, our theory explains three things. The existence of multiple partial DNA profiles. Why the same unknown male's DNA profile was found on both JonBenet's underpants and long johns. Most importantly, our theory explains the unknown male DNA found in the drops of blood on JonBenet's underpants. The bottom line is that this is most certainly not a DNA case.